Chosen one, as the final week of November rises around you, heaven releases a spiritual alert that echoes through every dimension of your life. This week is not simply the end of a calendar period, it is the end of a spiritual cycle that has been active for longer than you realize. This moment has been divinely calculated, spiritually measured, and prophetically sealed for you. Everything you have endured, every confusing pause, every painful stretch, every silent night, every unanswered question, has been leading your spirit toward this exact alignment. You are entering a corridor where heaven's voice grows stronger, clearer, deeper, and more final. This is not a symbolic ending. It is the actual completion of what has been under construction behind the scenes of your destiny. God has watched your persistence, your faithfulness, your resilience, your quiet endurance, and now heaven says, it is time. The final week of November carries a heavy anointing of closure and an equally powerful anointing of arrival. What was too early before is right on time now. What was forming becomes finished. What was promised becomes present. You are stepping into the week where heaven reveals what it has been preparing in silence. Before deeper revelation unfolds, take a moment to interact with your own destiny. Write your warmest, truest, boldest wish, the one you've carried in your spirit even when your circumstances didn't match it. Then type 777 beneath it. This is not superstition. It is intention made visible. When you write your wish during a prophetic week, like the final week of November, you anchor it in the spiritual realm. You agree with what heaven is releasing. You step into the same frequency as your breakthrough. And 777 seals it, as if you are stamping a spiritual envelope addressed directly to God. Liking and subscribing is not about ritual. It is agreement, alignment, and spiritual participation. This message is not something to watch passively. It is something to engage with. Your engagement is your declaration. I am ready for what heaven releases this week. Write it boldly. Seal it confidently. Heaven is listening. For months, God has been speaking to you in soft signs, gentle nudges, subtle connections, repeated numbers, inner whispers, sudden intuition. You are being slowly aligned, gently guided, quietly prepared. But the final week of November shifts heaven's communication from hints to decrees. Heaven is not whispering anymore. Heaven is announcing. What once came as suggestions now comes as confirmation. What once came as glimpses now comes with clarity. This is the week where God says, I am no longer showing you pieces. I am revealing the full picture. This transition in heaven's tone means one thing. The manifestation has passed the preparation stage. The promise has crossed the threshold. Heaven is done organizing. Now it is delivering. During this week, you will sense a divine seriousness in the atmosphere, a certainty that cannot be ignored. Heaven has moved from foreshadowing to fulfillment, from preview to presentation, from forming to final. If you have felt unusual pressure lately, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it was not confusion, it was confirmation. Your spirit has been feeling the weight of something preparing to descend. Tension preceded transformation. You felt heaviness, not because something was wrong, but because something large was approaching. The dreams that startled you, the internal restlessness you couldn't explain, the sudden waves of emotion. These were spiritual contractions. You were sensing a breakthrough pressing against the veil. You were sensing the future trying to enter the present. And the final week of November is the moment that pressure transforms into release. The tension was never a sign of defeat. It was the vibration of divine arrival. Something your spirit detected long before your eyes could see is now stepping into form. The weight wasn't warfare alone. It was the weight of destiny approaching you. You may have wondered why certain prayers took longer, why certain breakthroughs seemed slow, why certain doors stayed shut even when you were ready. But heaven wants you to know, not one delay was a denial. Every delay was divine construction. God was building, shaping, arranging, reinforcing, and preparing spiritual architecture behind the scenes. Blessings that are meant to last require deeper foundations, and foundations take time. The final week of November marks the moment where construction ends and unveiling begins. What God has been building behind the veil of your life is now ready to appear. You are not waiting aimlessly. God was building intentionally. Every not yet was God saying, "Let me finish preparing what you asked me for." Now the construction is complete. The delay has served its purpose. This week begins the delivery phase. The strange opposition, emotional turbulence, and spiritual heaviness you felt were not illusions. You were encountering resistance because you were nearing activation. Darkness attacks what it fears. The warfare intensified because the blessing was already in motion. The pressure you felt was proof that you were shifting dimensions. The final week of November reveals the truth. You are not losing your mind. You are crossing into alignment. You are not being attacked because you were weak. You are being attacked because heaven had already begun to release what belongs to you. Warfare always spikes before a season flips. But now that this week has arrived, the warfare breaks. It cannot continue past the threshold of activation. You will feel the pressure lift, the confusion clear, and the heaviness dissolve. Chosen one, you did not need flawless faith, just relentless faith. Heaven is not rewarding your perfection, it is rewarding your endurance. You kept walking even when you were tired. You kept believing even when answers were silent. You kept trusting even when nothing made sense. This final week of November is heaven's recognition of your persistence. God saw every moment you wanted to give up, but chose to hold on anyway. Your consistency has unlocked your completion. This week, you step out of the testing season and into the testimony season. Your endurance has written a spiritual check, and heaven is now cashing it. Every loss you experienced this year, every relationship that dissolved, every opportunity that fell apart, every person who drifted away, was not punishment. It was preparation. God removed what would have become a burden in your next season. He cleared the emotional, mental, and spiritual clutter that would have blocked your blessing. Loss made room for the life you are stepping into this week. What left was not meant to carry the weight of your calling. God always subtracts before He multiplies. And now, as the final week of November begins, you will see the purpose behind the pruning. You are lighter, clearer, stronger, and more aligned because of what you released. This week, something enters your physical reality. Not next month, not someday, now. The delivery is scheduled, cleared, and active. Heaven has released the order attached to your name. You are being presented, not hidden, revealed, not delayed, elevated, not paused. The final week of November carries the authority of arrival. What was spiritual now becomes visible. What was promised now becomes present. You are stepping into days where your inbox, phone, conversations, encounters, and opportunities reflect the shift. Something that has been circulating in the heavenly realm is now landing in your life. Angels are moving differently around you this week. There is an increase in divine activity, spiritual assistance, atmospheric rearrangement, supernatural orchestration. Doors open without effort. Conversations align without planning. Opportunities form without striving. This week, you are being escorted by heaven itself. Angelic orders have been activated with your name embedded in them. Your steps are guided. Your path is protected. Your environment is being prepared. Nothing that belongs to you will miss you. Nothing that harms you can approach you. This week is covered by divine surveillance. Your spirit is rising into a new frequency. This week, you step into vibrational alignment with your destiny. Your energy shifts. Your intuition sharpens. Your inner knowing strengthens. You will feel yourself syncing with opportunities that once felt distant. Alignment is not something you chase. It is something you become. And this week, you become aligned with the things heaven has prepared for you. You will notice synchronicities increasing, clarity strengthening, and peace deepening. This is vibrational readiness. This week ends long-standing patterns. No more stagnation. No more spiritual traffic. No more false starts. No more almost blessings. The final week of November is a divine cutoff point. Heaven presses stop on everything that held you back and start on everything meant for you. The stillness before movement was not a void, it was preparation. Now movement begins, flow begins, progress begins. This week is the beginning of unstoppable forward motion. Heaven waited for you to arrive at this inner maturity, and now you have. Your perspective has deepened, your trust has expanded, your discernment has sharpened, your spirit has matured into readiness. This week is not happening to you. It is happening because of you, because you reach the frequency required for fulfillment. Heaven does not release blessings when you ask. It releases them when you align. And this week, you are aligned. You don't need to be flawless, just positioned. And now you are. Your heart is in the right place. Your intent is pure. Your spirit is open. This week, doors open not because you force them, but because you are in the correct spiritual position. Divine ease replaces human effort. Things fall into place without pressure. You are where you need to be, and heaven recognizes your position. People will be confused by how quickly things shift for you this week. They didn't see the inner work. They didn't feel your spiritual stretching. They have no idea the level of warfare you endured. They will only see the acceleration, and it will surprise them. But this acceleration is not sudden to heaven. It is scheduled. This is what divine timing looks like when it activates. Everything speeds up. Doors open faster, favor multiplies quicker, opportunities rush in. This week marks the beginning of rapid elevation. Nothing about your life this week will follow normal rules. Logic cannot interpret divine rhythm. Things will align with supernatural timing. Conversations will flow effortlessly. Encounters will feel orchestrated. Decisions will feel guided. You will sense that something larger than you is choreographing your steps. This is divine rhythm, God's timing, not your thinking. And when rhythm replaces logic, everything begins to flow. You are no longer being evaluated. Heaven has already approved you. This week is not about qualifying. It is about receiving. Your divine assignment is stamped. Your season is authorized. Your elevation is irreversible. Heaven's approval outranks human permission. This week, you operate under a spiritual yes that cannot be undone. Cycles close permanently. Cycles of doubt, cycles of fear, cycles of confusion, cycles of spiritual exhaustion, cycles of emotional heaviness. They end now. The final week of November breaks patterns that have held on for years. You enter this week as one version of yourself and exit as another. This week is not just an ending, it is a spiritual ending that cannot be reversed. The page turns, the chapter closes, the new begins. You won't just receive blessing, you will become the evidence of blessing. Your life will speak louder than your words. Your transformation will preach without you needing to explain anything. People will look at you and see divine alignment. They will feel your shift. They will recognize the glow. You become the message heaven wants the world to witness. You become the living proof of breakthrough. Angels don't just deliver blessings this week, they anchor them. This is not temporary relief, it is permanent establishment. Your blessing roots deeply. Your opportunities stabilize. Your elevation becomes secure. Angelic deployment forms a protective perimeter around your new season. Nothing fragile, nothing fleeting, nothing temporary. This week begins the era of permanence. Your real identity rises this week. Not the version shaped by fear, not the version shaped by survival, but the version shaped by purpose. You begin to feel more like yourself than ever before. Your divine assignment becomes clearer. You understand why God kept you through storms. You understand why certain people couldn't stay. You understand why certain seasons felt harder than others. Your identity unlocks your purpose. Heaven has always known you by a name that earth has yet to recognize, a spiritual identity, a divine frequency, a prophetic signature. This week, that hidden identity becomes visible. People will sense authority on you. They will feel your presence differently. Your energy shifts. Your aura strengthens. You carry something unmistakably divine. You step into the name written over your destiny. This week, God elevates you without needing anyone's approval. No gatekeeper can block you. No critic can hinder you. No opponent can stop you. Your rise is sovereign, protected by heaven, designed by God, executed by divine timing. People who underestimated you will watch your elevation in silence. Those who ignored you will be unable to avoid your glow. Your rise is untouchable. This week marks the completion of a spiritual contract written over your life long before you arrived on earth. Heaven adds its final signature. The blessing becomes official. The promise becomes active. The assignment becomes live. Nothing can undo what heaven completes. The final week of November is stamped with divine approval. This is your contract completion moment. You are no longer hidden. You are no longer dimmed. You are no longer overlooked. Visibility becomes your atmosphere. Influence becomes natural. Your presence becomes noticeable, not because you tried, but because heaven has illuminated you. This visibility is not for vanity, it is for purpose. Your gift is needed. Your voice is required. Your presence is purposeful. You exit the warfare zone permanently. The battles that once chased you lose access. The darkness that tried to follow you gets blocked. You enter the fulfillment zone. Peace, provision, clarity, abundance, alignment, and divine protection. This week, Heaven draws a spiritual boundary around your new season. What attacked you before cannot pass this line. You have transitioned into fulfillment. This week activates movement. Not rushed movement, purpose movement. You begin walking in assignments that were dormant. You begin unlocking gifts that were silent. You begin stepping into opportunities that match your calling. You are not stepping into random activity, you are stepping into destiny. Purpose deploys you like a spiritual arrow aimed at impact. This week, gifts inside you awaken that you forgot you had. Creativity rises. Wisdom increases. Insight sharpens. Doors open. Wealth ideas emerge. Opportunities appear. Something inside you that was dormant begins to roar back to life. Heaven activates everything connected to your destiny. Nothing asleep remains asleep. This week, everything aligns in supernatural sequence. Things that don't make sense will make alignment. Perfect timing appears, divine coincidences connect, paths converge. Logic becomes irrelevant because divine orchestration takes over. You will see patterns, signs, confirmations that prove heaven is guiding every detail. This is the flow of supernatural precision. Time accelerates for you. What was slow speeds up. What was delayed arrives early. What was stagnant moves suddenly. Things you thought would take months happen in days. This is not luck, it is divine acceleration. The final week of November operates like a spiritual portal where time bends to serve your destiny. Everything that belongs to you races toward you. Chosen one, this message is not a conclusion, it is ignition. The final week of November is heaven's announcement that your breakthrough is no longer pending. It is active. Your name is being carried into rooms you haven't entered. Your blessing is in transit. Your spirit is aligned. Your season is ready. Walk boldly. Walk assured. Walk as someone whose destiny has been finalized by heaven. The final week of November has opened, and everything in your life will shift accordingly.